All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a game that's so much more than just a game. It's a legend, an 8-bit masterpiece that honestly shaped an entire generation. We're talking, of course, about Super Mario Bros. 3.
To really understand just how massive this game was, you gotta remember what was happening at the time. The whole video game industry had pretty much collapsed back in 1983. People were saying it was just a fad, but then this game comes along. It wasn't just selling millions of copies, it was like a defibrillator to the heart of the industry, proving that video games were here to stay and could be incredibly creative and, yeah, profitable.
And look, that's not just us looking back with rose-colored glasses. This is a critical consensus that's held up for decades. So what was it? What was the secret sauce packed into that little gray cartridge? How in the world did a plumber who could suddenly fly with a raccoon tail become this global icon and completely set the template for pretty much every platformer that came after it? Okay, first up, a revolution in 8 bits. Let's break down exactly how this game literally changed everything. So these days, we're used to games dropping everywhere at the same time, right? Well, not this one. This thing had a slow, staggered rollout. It landed in Japan way back in '88. But get this, North America had to wait 2 whole years. The hype was absolutely insane. By the time it got to Europe in '91, it was already a myth, a legend. That slow burn made its release a massive, multi-year event. And you look at this list, and a lot of it seems kind of standard now, doesn't it? But back then, this was mind-blowing stuff. Before Mario 3, games were just linear. Level 1, then level 2, then 3. This game, it gave us an interactive map. You could actually choose your path. And the power-ups? An entire wardrobe of suits. You could fly with the raccoon suit, swim like a pro in the frog suit, or, if you were lucky enough to find it, throw hammers with the Hammer Bros suit. You add in those incredible airship levels and secrets hidden in every single nook and cranny, and yeah, this wasn't just a small step forward. It was a complete reinvention of what a platformer could be. Next up, Section 2, the art of the game. Because you see, the genius here wasn't just in how it played. The real soul of Mario 3 was in how it looked, and especially how it sounded. And that soundtrack, it came from an absolute master, Koji Kondo. I mean, think about it. If you have an 8-bit tune from that era permanently burned into your brain, there's a really good chance this is the guy who wrote it. He's the musical genius behind both Super Mario and The Legend of Zelda. A true legend. And this game, I mean, it's just a masterclass. Every single track is perfect for the moment. You've got that happy, adventurous overworld music, right? Then the super high-energy athletic theme that just makes you want to run faster. And what about the airship theme? So dramatic and kind of menacing. And of course, the creepy, intimidating music in the castles. This stuff wasn't just background noise, no way. It was the heartbeat of the game. But here's the really wild part. The music wasn't just catchy, it was a technical miracle. The sound chip in the old NES was, well, let's just say it was super limited. But somehow, Koji Kondo squeezed these incredibly complex, layered songs out of it. He pushed that hardware to its breaking point, and the result was a sound that was just so much richer and more detailed than basically anything else on the system. All right, Section 3, playing in the modern age. So, it's a classic, we get it. But how does a game from the 80s actually play today? And if you want to try it, what's the best way to jump in? So if you're looking to play it today, you've got a few good options. The absolute easiest way is through Nintendo Switch Online. It's right there. Of course, it's also been re-released on a bunch of other Nintendo consoles like the SNES and GBA. And then there's the third path, the one that can get a little complicated, emulation. So what exactly is an emulator? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a translator. It's a piece of software that lets your modern PC or phone pretend to be an old console, like the NES. Now, the emulator software itself is typically totally fine, totally legal. Where things get tricky is with the game files, which are called ROMs. So yeah, just to be safe, your best bet is to always stick with the official releases from Nintendo. Okay, here's a question for anyone who grew up playing this game. Have you ever loaded it up on a new TV, maybe through an emulator or the Switch, and just felt like something sounds a little bit different? Like it's almost right, but not quite. But let me tell you, you are not crazy. You're not imagining it.
And here's why. See, the original NES was all analog. It sent an analog sound signal out to an old, bulky CRT television. That whole physical process gave the sound a certain warmth, a certain character. It was a little bit imperfect, you know? Modern systems, on the other hand, are all digital. They're recreating that sound. And even the best emulators out there can't perfectly mimic every tiny little quirk of that original chip and that analog signal. It's that subtle difference in the translation from analog to digital recreation that your brain is picking up on. Okay, our final section, an enduring cultural icon. Because beyond all the tech, beyond the gameplay, why is this game still so important? Why is it more than just a game? Let's talk about its legacy.
So what's the magic recipe that makes a classic? Well, nostalgia is a huge piece of the pie, for sure. We all have those memories. But nostalgia fades if there's nothing backing it up. The game also needs that solid foundation of just excellent gameplay. And let's be honest, Super Mario Bros. 3 is still a blast to play right now. Then you mix in all those shared experiences, playing with friends, family, and a simple universal appeal, and boom, you've got something that's truly timeless.
And its legacy isn't just some vague, fuzzy feeling. It's concrete. You can point to it. The Koopalings, they showed up for the first time right here, and they've been fan-favorite villains ever since. That overworld map, it became the standard for the entire genre. And the Super Leaf, letting Mario fly, come on, it's one of the most iconic power-ups in the history of video games. Full stop.
And don't get it twisted. This game is not some dusty relic in a museum. It is alive today. Just go online. You'll see amazing fan art, incredible remixes of the music, and of course, tons of memes. It's a huge deal in the speedrunning community, where people are still finding new tricks to break world records. This game isn't just surviving, it is actively thriving.
And I think that really gets to the heart of it, right? At the end of the day, what matters is that this game, decades later, through all the changes in technology, still has this uncanny ability to connect with people. It doesn't matter who you are. You pick up that controller and it clicks. And that leaves us with a bigger question to think about. We've seen what made this game special. The innovation, the art, that personal connection. But it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What is that secret ingredient, that X factor, that makes any piece of art, a game, a movie, a song, truly timeless? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.